Well, welcome back. It is the start of our Friday night sports show. We're taking a look at VFL and Jace, also some AFL, and of course Richmond in the VFL. Jace have started the season well.
They have. First game of the year there was played at midday today for some reason. When I say today, if you're listening to the replay, that's midday on Friday. That's right. They played their first game of the season midday on Friday. Richmond Tigers 13-17-95 over Sandringham 7-13-55. 11 matches to get through in round one because it's a stupidly big competition.
Yes.
And Frankston will play Coburg tonight.
Yeah, they will. Tomorrow, if you're listening to the repeat and getting out and about, the Footscray play the Gold Coast Suns. Sydney Swans play Greater Western Sydney in the Derby or Battle of the Bridge, I reckon we'll go with. Aspley in Brisbane take on Port Melbourne, and Brisbane Lions play Essendon. Carlton take on Southport. Werribee play Collingwood's reserves.
Oh, you would like me to do Sunday? Is that where we're getting to?
Yes.
Well, Box Hill. Yep, Box Head, because I'm not following the script. Box Hill Hawks, Casey Demons. So that should be an interesting game. Geelong and North Melbourne. Now, I wonder if North Melbourne's senior side will play. They might as well,
yes.
Because they're not going much good in the AFL. Northern Bull Ants, they will host Williamstown on Sunday as well. I'll try and follow the script from this point on, Flowman.
You're doing wonderfully well. We're getting into it. It's our second Friday night sports show. There is plenty to get onto because AFL is happening in earnest, and I'm going to ask you about the dominance of Richmond. One of our listeners and a Southern Mallee Giants stalwart is Ross Brown. He was on the phone to me on the text line the minute that they won the match by a very, very large margin, Richmond over St Kilda. Brownie was at me because I'd made a couple of statements on air that I felt Richmond might just struggle a little bit at different times this season, and Brownie was quick to remind me of a massive win by his yellow Guernsey men.
Well, Ross Brown, as we know, bleeds yellow and black, and that yellow jumper needs sorting out. Come on, Ross. Give me a spell. It's not a fashion statement. But that said, he knows his Tigers, and I knew his Tigers as well. I tipped him to bounce back comfortably, and they did. What we don't know about is St Kilda. I've got a feeling St Kilda might be Melbourne of 2021. They look shot, and really it was only a second-half comeback that separated them from being 1-4 and really floundering to where they are now. So, look, the St Kilda side, I think, are going to have a long season. The Tigers, 2014 to 7-6 after quarter time. It was all Richmond.
An 86-point win, and you look at the fact that Essendon beat this same St Kilda side by a similar margin, big margin earlier on. St Kilda were the side that we all said at the start of the year, they're going to be the improvers. We're going to watch St Kilda come of age after last season, giving their fans some real hope in the 2020 setup. They have been, I think, the biggest disappointment so far of the season.
I'll tell you why they're in trouble at the moment, because what you need at the moment is a hard-working midfielder to work both ways. And St Kilda, unfortunately for them, they're recruiting. They've recruited attacking midfielders who do not defend. It was Brad Crouch's knock at the Adelaide Crows. It was Brad Hill's knock in the two clubs he's been at. They're recruiting from the draft. We've got the likes of Billings, who is same, a very good player, very attacking player, doesn't defend. They don't have defensive midfielders who can actually work both ways. Hanbury, at the end of his career, what was he? Attacking midfielder. They just don't have the blokes to tackle, and if you don't tackle and pressure Richmond, you lose big time.
And the underratedness of Shane Edwards in their midfield, I think one of the most underrated AFL players, but Dustin Martin cleaned up again, probably another 3 votes in the Brownlow from his previous 3 votes the previous week, and so on and so forth. So, you know what, he is in great form. Even when they lost to Port, I thought he was probably still high up in their best players. So it is going to be a very interesting season. Let's go and have a look at the rest of the games for the round of matches. And I know that you're in front of me on the tips. In fact, actually, I'm a bit disappointed with my start to the season. I dropped a couple on you. And
geez, I even gave you a handball there last week. I didn't put my tip in for the Thursday night game, and you still couldn't pick one up on me.
Yeah, I forgot to do the first 2 games. So there you go. Anyway, we won't go there. But the West Coast Eagles play Collingwood tonight, and you'll know the nature of the result of this if you're listening to Saturday morning.
2 mediocre footy clubs. The West Coast Eagles are not mediocre at home, but away from the Nest, they're not much chop. Collingwood are just mediocre at the moment. North, and mark my words on this, Nathan Buckley will be the first coach sacked.
Yep, they're circling for him, aren't they?
They are.
At least the press in Melbourne seem to be circling for him.
More importantly, the Collingwood board are circling.
And that could be a worry. Western Bulldogs, there's nothing wrong with their circle work. It's fantastic. They go down the middle too. And the Gold Coast to their opponent. This is a beauty at Marvel. I think you can't go past the Western Bulldogs. And Stuart Dew, after this game, will probably start to scratch his head and wonder, we need to win soon.
Yeah, well, enough with the Gold Coast Suns. It's time to start measuring success in wins for them. But you talk about circles and circle work. The Western Bulldogs will run rings around those Suns. Don't worry about that.
Swans take on Giants. The Battle of the Bridge. It is in the VFL and it also happens in AFL. And this one at 4:05 on Saturday afternoon. Swans start favourite here, although the Giants did show something against Collingwood.
I reckon this is match of the round. GWS, they still have talent, and if Leon Cameron can get them up, the Swans, they're going beautifully. You've got to tip the Swans at the moment, but that's smoky, that one.
What about this one? Port Adelaide, Robbie Gray. Remember the last time he kicked a goal from the boundary lines? Probably robbed Carlton that day. Is it payback time at the MCG? Has Carlton a chance to beat Port? Is Port going to be, after last week, there was, they beat the great Richmond, but a lot of banged up players. 6 players were injured in that game. Is it one where you might just go navy blue rather than teal blue?
Yes, quite simply, Carlton, if they're half legit, win this game against Port Adelaide on their home deck. I'm, for the record, tipping Port Adelaide. I don't think Carlton are legit.
All right, now Brisbane are legit. They play Essendon, who've shown a bit in up and down form, but gee, the Lions are desperate for a win after losing to the Bullies in Ballarat.
Well, the reality is for the Brisbane Lions, if they don't win this game, they won't finish top 4. Now, I know it's, 4 games into the season. It's a bit early to be going like that. But if Brisbane lose this game, they can really only afford to lose one more for the season and still finish top 4. So big game for them. I think they win.
Dockers visit Adelaide. It is on the Sunday, and this is an opportunity for the Crows to get 4 out of 5. Who would have thought it after winning just 3 games last year? Crows start favourite, should win this match, and they have to if they are intending to make the top 8. This is the sort of games you have to win at home.
Well, I'm still not convinced, being a Crows supporter, but I'm still not convinced the Crows are top 8 material. They've got some banged up players after the first month. This is a banana peel game. I reckon Freo can get them at Adelaide Oval, but you'll tip the Crows surely for the form that they're in at the moment, but don't be surprised for an upset Freo win.
And Hawks play Melbourne, and Melbourne in great form. Is this the time where you're just dancing along and your tips, you just go, yeah, Melbourne are doing really well now, and then they give you that nasty tummy feeling on a Sunday afternoon at 2:50 at the MCG and lose to Hawthorn?
No, I am leaning on the side that Melbourne this year are the real deal, and it's all for mine about Christian Petrarca. He just lifts his team. I think they win. Death, taxes, and Melbourne this week are the only certainties.
I'll tell you what, Brad Hodge is the Christian Petrarca of a former era of Hawthorn players who would have also summed it up pretty well from the half-back flank and made sure Hawthorn had won. But I'm going for Melbourne. And the Cats play North in what is going to be a absolute do-or-die for Geelong at their home deck almost this early. Dangerfield back. They will win by 20 goals at the GM, HBH and X and Y and whatever stadium.
I'm going to qualify what I said before for the record, GMHBA. See, I've got that down pat.
Thank you.
Death, taxes, Melbourne and Geelong are the only certainties this weekend.
All right, and Patrick Dangerfield, when interviewed briefly about the other hits that happened last weekend, he said, yep, that's the umpire and all that. He played the game and then had a bit of a giggle as he walked off. I don't think Patrick thought the 3 games that he was given was probably equal to any of the others that haven't even been cited. So, again, I reckon there is a real incongruence with this particular bump on a player and a head injury. I reckon Dangerfield might have highlighted that.
Well, perhaps Patrick Dangerfield could try being less of a sniper and more of a footballer.
Oh, he said it. I'm not going that far. I reckon he has justified...
Hey, you pick someone off if they've kicked the football, they don't even know it's coming. You are nothing but a sniper. He deserved every one of those 3 weeks.
Yeah, well, I reckon there's a couple of other players that deserve to go before the match review panel for the same bumps. Anyway, that is you and I differing on the bumper. Good to talk about it, though. We're going to come back here, and we've got plenty still to come here. It's the Friday Night Sports Show. We're going to have a look at an interleague side that already has its squad chosen, and we've hardly played a game of football.
I don't think half of these boys have kicked the ball in anger yet, so we'll see what's going on there. But that's you're talking about for Sunraysia?
Yep, we are.
All right.
It's the first of those that have been named for future interleague football being played in May. We're getting come back with that here on The Flow, the Friday Night Sports Show.